Well, good evening, everybody. It is the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into our remote viewing show tonight, where I have a fantastic target for you guys tonight. And Barry Littleton tasked me with a interesting aquatic cryptid out of, I think it's out of Scotland, as a matter of fact, and in Ireland as well. And we're going to be getting into the Kelpie tonight. And of course, I have some other stuff to talk about with you guys tonight as well. And so, thank you guys so much for being here. I know it has been a wild and wacky week for me. And this has actually been one of the most jam packed days that I've had in a long time. My kids going back to school. I ended up I actually did a full field investigation today at a Northwest Georgia property where they're having Dogman activity and Bigfoot activity and shapeshifter stuff going on. It is absolutely wild, y'all. And so my homegirl Kelly may be in the chat tonight. All right. But she and I went out and did a full investigation. It was Kelly's first field investigation, and she did a fantastic job. And I will talk about that a little bit tonight. Yes, definitely Dogman activity and definitely Bigfoot activity going on over on this property. And so yeah, I'm not out of respect for the family out there. I think some of them thought we were just arrowhead hunting today. Okay, because not everyone is down with the Bigfoot, y'all, or the Dogman, and that's okay. But however, it was a wonderful, wonderful time. I went straight from that into an open house for school for my kid, and I'm here now, y'all. Okay, so it has been a one after the other kind of day for me, and so I'm here for it. Okay, y'all. Well, if everybody would like to check out the remote viewing data for tonight's target, you are welcome to go over to my Patreon and become a member. You can see all of the data. The entire presentation is uploaded over there on Patreon. So thank you to all my members. You guys are the best. I appreciate you guys so much. I also have a shop over on Etsy if you'd like to check out the goods at War Woman Goods. Okay, so thank you guys for all your support. It means the world to me. I really do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Also, thank you to my moderators for being here tonight, and to everybody. We have the best chat on the internet. I stand by that 100%. And part of that is thanks to my moderators. All right, so I do appreciate it. And I just saw Maureen. Maureen, thank you so much. She has been in the Hunt Club for 30 months. Oh my gosh. Maureen, thank you so much for your continued support. And thank you for being a fantastic moderator. I love you and Gus so much. Gus, my furry moderator. Okay. So thank you. Congratulations. And thank you so much, Maureen. You're the best. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, let's get into our show tonight. Okay, so I'm going to. By the way, I guess you can tell I got a little different setup tonight. Hopefully, the audio will be better. My camera makes me look white as a ghost, and that's okay, as long as the audio is good. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. All right. Well. All right. So the Kelpie. Let's get into the Kelpie. The Kelpie is a well-known cryptid from rivers and lochs in Scotland and Ireland. It is a shapeshifter. It's described as strong and as powerful as a horse. It appears often as a lost pony, and it's always dripping with water. So its mane and its tail is usually dripping with water. Its skin is like that of a seal, and it's smooth and it's cold to touch, and it can transform into a beautiful woman or a man. And they are actually known as being like sirens. We say siren down here in the South. Sirens and the Vienus. Okay. But it's kind of almost like a Kushtaka as well, by the way. Okay. The otter man. This is a horseman or a horsewoman, actually. But they lure men into the water, creating illusions that keep themselves hidden, except for they keep their eyes above the water. So you'll just see their glowing eyes at night. And there's actually a few videos online. I've seen a couple of videos of strange creatures with glowing eyes that look humanoid, that have their head out here, and you can just see their eyes in the water at night. They're also called a water horse. That is a common form of a Kelpie. And it said to lure humans into the water and drown them. The water horse encourages people to ride on its back, and once they're on there, they get adhesed to it. So they get stuck to their back. And the water horse's skin gets so sticky they cannot get off, and it drags them and runs into the water, dragging them to the bottom of the lake, and it devours them, except for the heart and liver, which is weird because that's kind of opposite of Spearfinger, right? Legends of the Kelpie carry one major warning: do not get near them. But is there truth to their existence? Of course, Barry gave me this super interesting remote viewing target, and I did this target. I got a ton of data out of this, by the way, and we're going to go over all the data tonight. And I hope you guys are ready. Buckle up, buttercups. We are ready to ride tonight. We're going to ride on the Kelpies tonight. Oh, man. I can't believe I haven't covered the Kelpies yet, honestly. But we're going full throttle and full steam ahead into the Kelpies tonight. And, of course, I have Barry Littleton here. He is the wonderful tasker. I call him my tasker. He tasked me with the Kelpies, or the Kelpie, as a remote viewing target. And this is a blind target. I don't even know. I have not even had time to compare the data to what this thing is. So this is a full-on hot mess express tonight. It's going to be so fun, as always. Okay. Sometimes these are the best shows. Okay. When we just go, let's just go. It's free flow. We call it, what do they call it? Free form. but you guys can find Barry Littleton over on his YouTube channel. It's called Barry Littleton, and his Patreon, and he's on Spreaker as well on podcast platforms. Please help me welcome to the show a cutting-edge researcher of all things cryptid, UFO, extraterrestrial, and spiritual, and more. Barry Littleton. Hey, Barry. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Salutations. What's happening?
Boom.
yeah, I boomed it. I always got to do that, like the boom mic, you know.
Yes.
What's happening? Thanks for having me. Hello to your audience. This is an interesting one. You know, I mean, how I even came to give this to you as a target is kind of weird and just silly, but at the same token, I just want to know if you get anything off of it. And I figured it would be, giving you targets before that turned out to be like dead ones, no good, just not real. And I didn't know if that's what this one would be or not, because it goes back that far, Mm-hmm.
It's a strange one. It's a strangey but a goodie. Okay. and I like it a lot. And I was telling the audience a while ago, like I've had a full day of just balls of the walls of events going on today, and I just am coming off of a full investigation out at a farm today of an actual shapeshifter. Okay, there's a family out there. There's actually one person in the family has been having a lot of this in a lot of the encounters happening, but we did a full investigation. There's everything from a shapeshifter, potential Skinwalker situation going on their farm, to Dogmen, to Bigfoot. And so we went out there, my homegirl Kelly and I went out there, and we did a rather thorough investigation with the lady of the property. And let me tell you, Barry, I'm first of all, I'm a little tired. Okay. But we found some pretty.
You look like really pale.
That's because I changed my camera, and so I just look really white today.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, you need some sun. Like, you certainly weren't out in the sun today. I'm sorry. You keep going.
I am super tanned right now. It's my camera. I tell you what, I don't know. I can have I get on my phone and I have a tan, or I get on my webcam and I'm white as a ghost. Okay, so I can't win. My audio should be good right, though.
You do look a little Casper-like.
I'm actually burned. I'm like, my skin is burned right now. Okay, but anyways, so we get out there. She's having a Skinwalker activity on her, not necessarily on her property, but down the road a little ways, like I mean, as a crow flies, it's an eighth of a mile or something. And so I'm not going to get into full detail of everything that happened. I haven't even had time to go through my pictures and stuff that I have of all of this. But we did find lots of footprints. We found a lot of track lines. We found hair. I got hair samples in some of the fencing. I got. She's even had crows and things like stuck to her fence that were intentionally put there and gutted, and like, I mean, it's just 100% typical Dogman activity. All of it. A lot of the stuff that she's showed us today. And I got some great prints. I got some pictures. I don't know if I'll ever show them to the public, but I might. Okay. And so, yeah, it adds to the collection of all the Dogman encounters people are having along the Northwest Georgia corridor, up and down where I live. It's wild, Barry. We always talk about, like, why are there so many Dogman encounters going on right now? I don't know. They're happening, and they're terrorizing her cows and her horses. And you know what I did ask her too? I said, have your horses, she's new to Bigfoot and Dogman, by the way. I said, have your horses ever had their hairs knotted? She said, yes. Yeah. And then I looked at Kelly and I was like, do I need to tell her what that means? Dang it. Yeah.
Be careful. People get mad. There's a good way to get attacked quick is bring up the witch knots.
The witch knots. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, do you feel that there is one central thing, like prime intelligence behind all the manifestations on that property? You know what I mean? One central intelligence is doing it. You know what I mean?
You know what? Honestly, I don't. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff going on there. And in the fact that there's this like shapeshifter kind of thing that she's seen it with her own eyes. And it's not far from me. Like last Friday, I had an incident where I saw something that was really odd. I'm going to say it's miles from where that is. I mean, it's several miles. It's a lot of miles. But I saw something that was like I saw deer, and then the next time I was looking at them, and then they kind of shifted into like dogs. Now, could I have been dehydrated and hallucinating? Maybe. Okay, I saw some weird stuff out there, but she saw clearly. She took us to the location where there was what she saw was a deer about to cross the road, and then it turned into a dog, and then a man. Okay, a man who actually opened a door and walked in it. And here's the common denominator to a lot of the encounters they're having on their farm. There's new growth and buildings around the area. Okay, so there's subdivisions going in, and this is in a very rural area. And so there's like maybe not full subdivisions, but like, 10 houses here. And there's a neighbor, a guy who bought some property and built a house and stuff. So it's all this building that's going on, and it's kind of flushing all the Dogmen and the Bigfoot activity over to their property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And causing the earth to react.
Oh.
And that the earth may be creating some of this too. I mean, that's the disturbance now. We're getting at a point, I think, to where when the destruction of earth is so much more terminal right now, you know what I mean, and addressed almost immediately, as well as the natural factor, like you're saying too. But I think it may be a combination of both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because when we start dealing with truly those beings on this planet that are capable of shape-shifting, I mean, outside of humans that can do it, like Toltecs could do it and things like that, and what they call the Skinwalkers and everything. But outside of that, those beings that are here, that are present, that come here from other places that have that ability as well, and how they're able to actually start manifesting now, whatever it is, or they already exist. They're getting ran out of those areas. It's very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and how much that is phantom projections from the earth too, combined.
Yeah.
A defense mechanism.
Yes. Can I tell you something?
Activity. Yeah.
Something else that the lady who was showing us around, amazing woman, right? She is very psychically in tune, not only to all of her farm animals, but to what's going on her property. Okay. And I found this really cool, not to get into too many details about this, right? Because and not to talk about it too much, but she had a connection to like one of her cows at one point. And her cow's passed away now, but it was one of her cows, and the cow, she just had a baby. She told me this tonight, and I just wanted to bring this up because I think this is important when it comes to the research that we do. This cow led her to the back corner of her field one day. And this is an area this woman does not like going to. It's really creepy back there. That's where we got some hair samples today. I might send these hair samples off to my wildlife biologist friend, okay, to Keith, and let him look into this. But she said that it was really weird. She got guided over to this back corner of her field by her cow, and she was thinking, maybe she's guiding me to her calf or something. But she said she got over there, and there were these dead crows. Okay, dead crows, Barry, and they were wrapped in the barbed wire with their wings spread. And one of them had been kind of like fell down, and the other one was up there. So his wings were spread on the barbed wire. I mean, basically impossible to do by just flying into the barbed wire. And this is in a wooded area. There's no way these crows were flying and got caught like that. And they were gutted. They were opened up and gutted. There was almost like they were left there. Okay. And the cow took her to these crows to look at them. The cow was like, "Come here and check out these crows." And so this is an area that she avoids. She doesn't want to go there. And she went there and found those and thought it was really odd. But at the time, she didn't know, she wasn't thinking Bigfoot or Dogman or anything. She might have been thinking maybe there's some kind of weird psychopath feral person living back here. Do you know what I mean?
Devil worshiper. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like. What do you feel it was?
I'll be honest with you. I think there's Dogmen out there. 100%. Some of the prints that we found today were potentially juvenile Sasquatch prints. We found lots and lots of, it looks like human footprints, and they're about the size of like my feet, basically. I have big feet. My mom told me today, she's like, "You need to quit telling people how big your feet are." Okay. Because I have big feet. I was like, "Mom, I don't care. I don't care. People make fun of my feet." Okay. But anyways, I think it's with the activity, with all of the collective information that we got today, I do believe there's a family of Bigfoot on her property, and I do believe there are also Dogmen out there, and they are making psychic communication with her on the regular, all of them. Okay.
And what are the communications?
You don't mess with us, we don't mess with you. That's the main one. And so, yeah, that's the main one. And that's not shocking, because that's what I get a lot of times when we go out in the field. There's a territory marker. There's territory lines. We hit those energetic brick walls. That's something I've talked about extensively throughout the years. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Okay. 5 years. And I've always talked about these energetic brick walls that I've encountered out in the field. And that is what she gets. And so when she gets these psychic downloads, she'll just be sitting in her house. She'll be laying in bed or whatever, and she gets these downloads. And I think that's fascinating, Barry. What better person to get in contact with me about that than that person? Okay. It's almost like she was sent to me or something to talk about this. And I just absolutely love it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of that normally focuses around the female of the property. It's fascinating.
It does, doesn't it?
Like Snow White, Bigfoot, and people like that. It's quite interesting.
Yes. Yes. Jean is actually, Gina in the chat right now. What's up, Jean Hudson? She says there's a energy force they put out that tells you where you can and can't go. And that's exactly what she told me today. She said, this area is off limits for me and I don't go there. And she was like, and there's like, she has literal territories where the property belongs to her and her family, but she respectfully does not go out there. And her animals don't really go over there either.
I have heard that before,
Hmm.
especially like their hunting area to stay out of there.
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't know if I should tell the audiences, but I'll go ahead and tell you too. It's gotten to the point to where she's actually been worried about it, and uh, I guess I'll tell y'all this. She has chickens and roosters and stuff. She's like, look, there's points where like if I'm feeling like it's ominous, she'll leave some roosters out to run around at night to almost be like an offering. It's like, here, take my
Did
rooster.
they take them?
Yeah, we found the remains of a rooster today. We did out in the field. We
That
did.
must get expensive real quick.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's almost it's just weird. You do what you got to do when you're living amongst dogmen and Bigfoot out there. So I don't know. It's to be continued. Okay, I don't want to get too much into that case today because we're here to talk about kelpies. Okay, but there's a lot more to it. I haven't been able to go through all my pictures. I took a lot of pictures today, and with her permission, I'll talk about it some more in the future.
Come
There's a
on, Joe.
lot to
Spill
it.
some more beads. You're quite other. You were going good. Keep going. You got to shut
Yeah.
it down.
Well, I do. I also do want to mention that we did find a lot of arrowheads today. We found at least 4 arrowheads, white quartz arrowheads between me and Kelly.
Really?
Yes, we found 4. That's a lot. Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Well, I was talking to my good friend Bruce Brown. Bruce said that is probably it means that there's an Indian burial mound around there, and it's definitely on some Native American land. and so the two that I found were kind of they were kind of wonky. Okay, so they're not like perfect arrowheads, but they're arrowheads. They're kind of broken arrowheads. The ones that Kelly has are straight up arrowheads. They're nice. Okay,
Was this
I
in
always
pretty close proximity to this person's house? I
it's
mean,
on
like
her
as far as
property. It's
it was actually on
absolutely
the property.
the one I found was in her flower bed by her house. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Well, I think
and
that's telling
also
you a lot. That's telling
it's
you a whole lot, don't you think?
it is also I do want one more thing before we move to the Kelpies. I'm like, can't even say it right. We moved to the Kelpies. It's been
It's
a
cool. You
long
get all
day.
excited about this. I like it. So keep going. What
Yeah.
are you gonna say?
One thing is there's something that urinated on her house and it urinated on her garage. And when I asked her to show me exactly where it had urinated, she said this was a couple of years ago. She said that she was having horrible energetic, like something that was just ominous and it was very threatening. And whatever it was around her house was very threatening. And she could hear it walking around her house at night. It was walking around her house. And they live way out in the country. And she said that she would hear something. It's walking on, bipedal. Okay, it's walking around her house. She said that she woke up one morning and there was the garage was covered in urine, like her outside door. And when I asked her to show me where the urine was, it was up higher than a dog. Okay, it was almost like a dog had peed on her garage. It was up higher than that. I have a picture. I'm not going to show it or anything tonight, um, but it was up. It'd be like waist level for humans. She said that it took her forever to get rid of the smell. She said it was horrible, and she couldn't figure out what it was. She just thought it was a big dog. I was like, "Do you think a big dog went up that high with that?" So there's that too. That is 100% typical dogman behavior, Barry.
It's real interesting as you say that. I was picking some stuff up,
Okay.
and I was picking up that not just her place, but that area. There's a whole bunch of sacred, I think, Native
Yeah.
American stuff that's being encroached in, and I think that's what's
Yeah.
bringing it in too. Reminds me of actually where I live. Where I live is, the name of the town actually means many huts. And it's like, man, I'll tell you, you're pretty pressed to find a Native American around here. You gotta go down to the to the Indian Center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean a little bit far, but seriously, it is like decimation is a lot of decimation on this land here. A lot of blood from that when all that happened. So I think that that's something similar you're dealing there in the process now. That's real fascinating.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
so I mean that brings all sorts of things in, as well as the natural, the 3D, and the other too. And
It
then that
does.
means it's just going to go crazy. But
Mhm.
but like for example, what do you think about those crows? See, that's something you could remote view right
Oof.
there. Well, what did that,
Yeah.
and why? You said you think Dogmen did it for
Yes.
what? For what reason? To eat, for feed, or is it a symbol, a sign, or
Well, let me
a
tell you. Let me
marker?
tell you. Let me tell you what Bruce told me. He said that sounds like a raven mocker. That's what he said. Now that is a S walker. Let's not don't say the words too often tonight, right? But I personally think that would be more like a either okay around where that was found, and this was a couple of years ago when she found those, right? About a year or two ago. Um, we in that area today we found a lot of small footprints, and by small I mean like 8 to 10 inches. It looks like human, but they're obviously like juvenile Bigfoot tracks and stuff. Like we found a bunch of those today over there in that area. So I do believe there's a family of Bigfoot potentially living over there. But I do also believe with the other things that she's seen, dogmen as well, for sure. At least two dogmen out there. So I don't know. It could be Bigfoot as well. It could be anything, Barry. It could be anything. But
I'm trying to assimilate this what you just said. So
mhm.
what exactly is a raven mocker?
I've covered that before on the show. I believe it's some sort of, it's almost like, I think it's a Cherokee legend. And I think it's like I want to say a S Walker. Okay. It's a shapeshifter. We're talking about shapeshifters today. And let me tell you, she encountered an actual shapeshifter about an eighth of a mile down the road from where their farm is. An actual shapeshifter that she watched.
And it went into a door, right? But into a physical door. You mean a dimensional door, like?
Yeah, she said that it opened up. It like grabbed, almost like it had a door handle. It opened it. She said it was black on the other side. She saw all of this. So it was black on the other side, and then he turned around, looked at her, and walked in the door, and disappeared.
What did this place make you feel like?
I went during the daytime, and it was beautiful. But I also, in certain places, my body was getting goosebumps. Okay, and the goosebumps is an interesting sign because that usually will tell me there's something about this. And it was interesting because we were all three. My friend Kelly was there, and the woman who owns the property, and we were all kind of getting goosebumps around the same time. I think at least me and the lady that was showing us around were definitely getting goosebumps and stuff. Uh, so, um, so I would. It depended upon what area we were in because we were going from different. I mean, this is a large property, and there were certain parts of the property where I was really excited the whole time I was there. I was like, I want to go camping out here. This is a perfect place to set up a FLIR and a thermal over here, and so I was just excited the whole time I was there. But there were places where I could feel her scaredness and her kind of like fearful a little bit and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I was picking up on that. Yeah.
So do you take pictures of the tracks?
I have tons of pictures, yes.
Let's
But
see,
I
let's see one.
I haven't
Let's
I
see one.
haven't even gone I haven't even looked at them yet. I've been busy all day. So I haven't even looked at them. I know. Kelly actually has a picture of it looks like a Bigfoot peeking out from behind a tree at us today. So we have a lot of stuff. I just haven't had
It's
time to
just
find
it's interesting. So I guess what makes you think that they're juvenile Bigfoot tracks?
it, but by the size alone.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
It's just by size alone. It looks like a human, like human footprints, but there's no humans back there.
Okay, I thought you meant like almost like more towards infant size or something like that. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
They were. I'm gonna say
Gotcha.
the majority were like around 8 to 10 inches. So
Uh,
I believe there was a juvenile back there. That's what I think. At least one, probably more. But anyways, that's where her cows live and her horses. She's got cows, horses, and dogs, and chickens, roosters, all that. It's all back there. So yeah, it was a wonderful day. I will process it and we'll talk about it more in the future, maybe. Okay. But but yeah, it was a wonderful time. Shout out to Kelly. Thank you for going with me today. And yeah. Well, it really does kind of back up the idea and the fact that there are a lot of cryptid sightings around the Northwest Georgia corridor, and these are not only just plain dogmen, they're shapeshifters and stuff as well. And Jean, thank you. She says Ravenmocker is a demon. Think the Trail of Tears feeds on pain, torture, and death. Yeah, and that's interesting that those crows were back in the back of that location, and that's where she has the most fear. She doesn't want to go back there. You know, is where those were. It's just bad energy, bad juju. You know what I mean? So I don't blame
And
her.
she didn't have any idea what that might be that did that. I mean, that since she's psychic and all that.
Well, she had some ideas back then, but she wasn't sure. She wasn't sure. You know, especially being a couple of years ago. I think I mean our first thought a lot of times before we know about Bigfoot and Dogman and stuff, it goes straight to like people, you know, or you know, maybe the crows got caught in the barbed wire and it was a natural thing, and that's always a possibility as well, but it's not likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and she said the way that they were displayed and their wings were splayed out like that, and then they were hollowed out on the inside. They had only been eaten. That it was almost like their guts had been eaten out. I know. Hope you guys aren't eating tonight. Sorry.
Say your slogan thing. What do you?
What, head on a swivel?
No. Entertainment. What entertainment? Whatever.
Yeah, it's for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. There you go.
It is. It is. Well, we're actually talking about a shape-shifting cryptid tonight, and that's the remote viewing target for tonight. I have a ton of data for this, Barry, and this thing is actually quite sinister. And talking about, it even talks about eating the liver. It eats all the organs out of a person except for the liver and the heart, I believe. That's wild.
You know, it. So I'll tell you actually how I even came to give this to you as a target. So basically right now I'm still somewhat in grieving process. And I was thinking about, actually it was my mother. It was the movie when this one came out when I was pretty little. It was the Black Stallion movie. I was watching that with my mother. And I remember her saying, I think that horse is supposed to be a Kelpie or Kelpie. I think she actually said it. And I remember saying, what's that? And she goes, that's a water horse. So the way it's coming out of the water and the way it's affiliated with the water and it's black, I think that's supposed to be a Kelpie. That's what she called it. Yeah. And it always stuck with me. And then later on I wound up, trying to find out what it was. And it's what you see now, but it was always this thing of a black horse that was a water horse, these water horses, that some of them are also white sometimes, but that when, they have this sheen, and when you touch them, you stick to it immediately. And that's how they take you. And, it's so interesting because just recently I had a really cool client that was from Jamaica, grew up there their entire life. Okay. And inadvertently, as we're talking about some other things, they started talking about not going down to the beach at night and how the beaches are shut off. And they mentioned this a couple of times. I just asked, I said, why are the beaches shut off at night like that? And they said, because the mermaids, they take people.
Oh. And
it caught me off guard just to hear, because we're dealing with something different. I said, that's really, she goes, they say that's very, very real. That's a very real thing, and people come up missing, and y'all don't hear about it. You don't hear about it over here. But it's a real danger, and they take people. And again, it's these aquatics that take people into the water and drown. And I hadn't heard I heard like a lot of times the bodies weren't found or anything, but I think he found some things a bit more gruesome. But it's fascinating because then it comes to, you do start hearing it that sometimes it can change to something else. That it can change into a human with red eyes or just different shape-shifting abilities. Mm-hmm. But I find that it takes on the horse interesting. You know, and at that time when my mother was telling me this, it was those horse movies were kind of in, because there was all these some things go around that wasn't true. Like they were saying that all the Clydesdales were not just in danger, that they're no more, they're all gone. That's not true. That's one of the things that kind of went around back then, and the talk of how wild horses used to be like wild buffalo and much more abundance and things of that nature. And then when looking at this Kelpie, it shows up in, you know, in our literature, I think quite a bit in entertainment. You know, things that come to my mind is, think about the horse that the cat that was hunting down Ichabod Crane, the horseless headman. He was riding a horse like that. Okay, that's portrayed like that. Or even those that are familiar with excuse me, the Spawn series by Todd McFarlane. You know, the Spawn actually.
Oh, that explains a lot of the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Was that you or me?
Oh no, I don't know. It's my son, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, man, you got me. Oh no. I don't know what that was. A double line. I still, in case back in the days when you on the phone, you get a third party come in, all of a sudden, who's that? Anyway,
he's got my computer over there, so he's yeah.
All right. Well, the Spawn thing is about these, you know, these creatures basically that are they're these Hell's warriors, but there have been generations of them. And when you go back further than the one that you deal with in the comic, or the main one, Al Simmons, there's one called the Black Knight, and the Black Knight comes to all the spawns to torture them while they're on Earth, and he rides a steed like that one there, like something like that with the oily long manes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's interesting. So, you know, just for that reason alone, it went far enough back, but I thought you probably wouldn't get much data off this thing. I thought it'd kind of just be kind of one of those flukes. But by the same token, it was worth checking it out just based on that, and also that you got a really cool audience. I know a lot of them like cryptids, and you've been cool enough to do several targets for me that had nothing to do with cryptids. So I think it's always cool to kind of, you know, bring it to something that's a possible cryptid. But everything I had heard was similar to what you're saying, though. It's very dark stuff, you know, and demonic to a degree.
Demonic. Oh God. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what else to call it. You know what I mean?
Well, this is a very interesting one. It's different, and I have not I've not covered this one before. What I called a Kelpie a while ago is a Kelpie. Okay, it's a Kelpie. I find it interesting because it is a shapeshifter. A lot of people describe this as being like going from a horse to a. It looks like a horse. It turns into like a beautiful woman. I've heard even men as well. You know, there's actually several. There's one video I know really well that it looks like 2 or 3 humanoids that are sticking their heads out of water, and all you can see are their eyes, and they're glowing white. And I don't think this is in the United States, but I don't know for sure. And I was thinking, man, those could be Kelpies for sure in these little videos and stuff. I want to say they actually took a guy under the water at some point when he jumped in there, but I don't know. Okay, but yeah, these are very interesting, very interesting. Of course, I've done some remote viewing on like the Loch Ness monster. Barry, I got to tell you, that Loch Ness monster, my data suggested that it was a dragon of some sort in Scotland. It's not shocking, right? Not shocking at all.
I think I gave you that target, didn't I?
I think you did. Yeah. My data said dragon in it. Okay. And I don't think these are dragons by any means, but yeah, like I said, I have some strange data for this one.
You know, real quick before you get into that, you know, something interesting when thinking about that. I honestly believe that the dragons everybody's obsessed with right now, I believe that they're primordial creatures, okay, of energy that maybe are formed when energy is of the creators is. I think it's a different thing going on there. I think that they're primordial force though, and then that can go all the way into manifestation of what we know as dragons, all the way into probably some of the dinosaur types. You know what I mean? But I think the archetype for the dragon is primordial energy creators. I'm going to find out what they would call that in like the Ranta book. Actually, physical controllers, or maybe something like that. They call that in that book.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when dealing with that concept, though, I was thinking about the book Initiation by Elizabeth Hayes. Copy of it. God, never get it that easy. That's a trip. This one right here, good book. One that got turned on to me like when I was in late junior high, freshman year, in high school. But anyway, something that she mentioned in her past life, like remembrance and regression, is how those first dynasties in Egypt had a partnership with the lion, and how the lion was doing a lot of the things that that we see horses doing now. And they had said how when that bloodline of them and the sons of God, as they call themselves, had phased out, which we have all sorts of different names for it now. Anunnaki, this and that and stuff. God, I'll finish with that. But anyway, when they actually phased out, how when the sons of men took over, that there would no longer be understanding with the animal kingdom, especially the lions, and it would be a problem there. But there would be another animal that would willingly take over the servitude of slave to humanity, to the sons of men. They're talking about the horse and what would go later on. And so when you think of that, and I've always heard about that, especially like I said back then, those wild herds of horses that were supposed to run the earth. And even I think they made that even to where in Clash of the Titans, the old one, Pegasus, they talked about that, how there's supposed to be herds of even those, the winged stallions. Oh, yeah. And then they were all destroyed, murdered, except for Pegasus. Remember sorry, I'm going far back on your movies, Jones. I don't want to burn you out up there. But,
right.
But anyway, seriously, when dealing with that concept, though, of what kind of projections might the earth make that are similar, or nature make itself, that involve the horse and that very thing of enslavement. You know what I mean? What back draws that, or that is that energetically? It's food for thought.
Oh, you know what I just thought of too? All these like mind control programs were actually represented by a horse. Okay. And I don't know if it was like the Montauk Project. What is one of the guys that was a big part of the Montauk Project? I'm talking about government programs and all that. I mean, I know he wrote a book and it had the iron horse on it or something like that, some kind of horse. Mm-hmm. They have the Lucifer horse at the Denver airport as well. That big. It's the same horse they use in these psychological operations, whatever unit that is with our government.
Well, I'll tell you, that symbolism is very serious, and it's enrooted deep in our psyches, ancestors back. Okay, now, if I mention to you the word TriStar, what do you think of? What do your audience members think of? Boom, when I say TriStar Pictures, what do you think of? It's not Iron Man. It's not the Girl Scout cookies. It's not the Girl Scouts. When I TriStar Pictures, mm-hmm. It normally starts off when you see it, a huge horse comes running up, opens its wings, and takes flying. It's the beginning of so many movies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about now? And at the end, you just see the band of it. TriStar Pictures Pegasus is the logo. Wow. And I'm saying that when you see things like that, it really does do something symbiotically. And seeing certain imagery, what that really does to us. I had mentioned a book that is the ISIS papers by Dr. Welsing. Mm-hmm. But she talks about that and what actually seeing some of the symbolism in Washington does to the psyche for those of us that are African American. You know what I mean? So, or after black descent, melanin dominant descent. So, it's just interesting stuff like that impacts us in ways that you think it wouldn't. Yeah. But we're dealing with negative projections of the earth, and things that are cursed by Earth itself. Is that something that we're dealing with? Just food for thought. I'm not saying that's correct, but it's worth thinking of and factoring in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I found it. This is Preston Nichols. It says Preston Nichols and Peter Moon wrote a book called The Montauk Project: Experiments in Time. And that is a horse that actually looks just like Lucifer at the Denver airport. And that is representative of the mind control programs within our government.
Remember, they did some really good interviews, especially Preston Nichols did some really good interviews with Art Bell back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Script says Lucifer fell on its creator, killing him. That's right. The artist who was making that thing, part of Lucifer fell on him and he died, which was weird. Okay, it could be another Illuminati ritual or something. I don't know, but that's true. Very odd stuff. But yeah, that
you said it's at the Denver airport. You said
the Denver airport. Yeah, the one that's like super occultist, like occultish, I guess. Yeah, the Denver airport. It's weird. That's a weird place. I've flown through there at least once or twice. And I went looking for the underground tunnels. I went looking for Lucifer. I went looking for everything. And I had a layover there. I couldn't find nothing that was weird. I figured, yeah, they must have had that put away somewhere. I couldn't find
someone who really started the weird stuff didn't start it, but somebody that really enhanced it. All the weird stories about the Denver airport.
Who's that?
Art Bell. Because
Really?
he said he used to be an electrician and he did something under the ground there.
No way.
He talked about that. Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, and he said that was an odd place. He sure did. He did some sort of underground work, electrician work at Denver airport. That's before he did that, and he did like ham radios and stuff like that or something. He was,
Ham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my whole team's trained. We've all got most of us have ham radio licenses and stuff. So.
Now, question: wasn't Black Beauty used to have that book? That was like a regular horse though, but the Black Stallion was found like on that island by that kid or something, and it was like just this lone black horse, and and that's what my mom would say is a Kelpie, and I remember her saying, they always say they're making this a good horse, but said those things are not supposed to be good. And whenever people were saying to seen those, they were supposed to not get on them. With a horse without around the water without what we call a bridle. Is that what you call that?
Mm-hmm.
Without a bridle and is not scared of humans.
Don't go near it.
Yeah. That's just my mom was really cool. She had a vast knowledge. She was very learned. You know what I mean? So she knew that she had an interest in a lot of stuff that's paranormal too. So, but that was just one of those things, little things that you hear when you're young, you just never forget. You know what I mean? It's always stuck with me. Water horses.
Yeah. Water horses. I think of seahorses and stuff when I hear that word. Water horses.
Those are fascinating creatures on their own, honestly.
Yes.
Seahorses are quite interesting creatures, honestly.
They are. I used to love finding them. I had little dried out seahorses when I was a kid and stuff. I don't know if you can find them today. I haven't seen one in decades. I've seen some like real seahorses at the Georgia Aquarium. Those are cool. They look like little dragons and stuff. But you don't find those on the beach anymore. I haven't seen it in a long time. But yeah, it's cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. And so I'm wondering if there's any kind of connection to these. They're called the Kelpies. When I think of Kelpies, I think of kelp. Like, isn't that like algae or something? It's kind of seaweed. Mm-hmm. That's what I think of when I hear of Kelpies. And,
it's interesting when you hear some of the people saying when they move. Sometimes when the horse moves in the water, it seems very peculiar.
Uh-huh.
And some of those things I had almost describing as being almost like a type of a black goose. Whatever, just reminded me of the way that what I was reading. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or supposedly some people touch it and it almost starts morphing when they actually touch it, and that's when they can't get away, and then it drags them off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was actually thinking about all the black dogs and stuff too, like black animals. That's like a very has a paranormal like connotation to it. Whenever a black horse shows up or a black dog with the red eyes, especially, you know, there's something supernatural to that.
Sunfire Goddess is a friend of mine. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I some of the accounts say that sometimes they can also be like the Lone Ranger's horse. They can be white sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Like what was his horse's name? Silver, right? Silver, right?
Uh-huh.
It can look like silver, but long hair like that. And sometimes that hair is, equated to almost being like seaweed.
Mm-hmm. Like kelp.
Yeah.
Like kelp or something. I mean, some of the depictions actually are quite interesting because it does kind of looks like a seahorse, almost like a mermaid horse, a mer horse. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, they're depicted in many different ways. There's a Kelpie right there. It kind of looks like a seahorse a little bit, almost like a dragon.
And just for the record, isn't there a dog called the Kelpie?
There is. When I was doing some research, they're some kind of like cattle dog or something, I think. I don't know, Australian maybe. Yeah. Do not get these confused. These are not dog. These are aquatic horse cryptids. So it's a little bit different. But yeah.
I'm like you. I didn't read anything good about those things at all.
No,
even if it was just legend or lore, it was nothing I read good about them at all.
No, not at all. Except for the fact that they're really nice and sweet when you first you entertain them when you see one by somebody called them a killing pool. They said they hang out by their killing pool, and I was like, dang, that's messed up. Nobody wants to go to a killing pool. I wouldn't go hang out by a killing pool. But that's what they were called. And wow. But they say they're like strong, beautiful horses. They look like they're kind of wet and stuff.
Yes, they look like they're wet, or like there's oil on them. Like there's sheen on them almost. And it's interesting because for some reason I always kept thinking about like Vanta Black. That's not the same thing, but for some reason I just kept thinking about that when reading more about it.
Oh man, I just when I was I just got this horrible phrase in my head. This is so bad. When I was thinking about like the wet mane and stuff, I was thinking about rode hard and put up wet. I'm sorry.
Jones.
That is a terrible thing. It's for entertainment purposes only. That guy looks like he's been rode hard and put up wet. That's a horse phrase, y'all. Okay. Don't get it twisted. All right. But yeah, that's what these things are, basically. So but they will eat you. They're called the shape-shifting man-eaters, Barry. Because they do eat you, and they prefer children. Now, what's up with that, Barry? They prefer to eat children.
I hadn't come across that part, but never. Leave it up to you to discover that one. I didn't know that one. I didn't know that they preyed on children, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I did read one about sometimes they can appear like a pony to children, but the same type of thing, a long seaweed type hair.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this actually kind of if you read some of the old stories about these things, they do seem like they're cautionary tales as well. Like we tell our kids, I got a kid, I tell him like, hey, watch out. Actually, by the way, I did take my child with me today. He's 12. He's as big as I am, by the way. He went with me today to do this Dogman S-Walker Bigfoot investigation. I was so proud of him, by the way. He did an excellent job today. But yeah, we have cautionary tales that we tell our children, to not go out in the woods at night. There's certain things you don't do. There's rules to go by. And that's kind of what this sounds like. It sounds like a lot of the tales of these Kelpies are actually cautionary tales to keep kids out of the daggum woods. Okay. To scare them into submission to their parents and stuff. That's kind of what I was picking up on a little bit too with some of these tales. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Thank you, Gene. Yes, I wasn't thinking of that one, but that's funny. But yeah,
that one went right over my head, man.
Oh man,
was that a southern thing? Was that a southern joke?
Yes.
Hey, I got to ask you something. You called something in Georgia. There's something where all the paranormal stuff happens. What'd you call it?
Where all the paranormal stuff out? You talking about where like one of my research areas?
No, you just said it's like an area that just like a chain like a chain of places where there's all this. You called it something.
I don't know. I was just talking about cautionary tales for children and stuff. I don't know, a corridor.
Yeah, is that what you called it?
Yes, I call it. We have like the Northwest Georgia corridor where we have a lot of Dogman encounters. There's the troop herd corridor, which goes through the middle of the state. And then we have the Northwest Georgia corridor, which moves along like the Georgia-Alabama line from north to south, from like Tennessee down to like LaGrange or Columbus, Georgia. I'm going to say LaGrange. That's still not north. That's just west. But yeah, those are highly active areas for cryptids in Georgia.
Is Cobb County in one of those?
Cobb County is smack dab in the middle of it. It is. It's actually just east of Paulding County, where all the werewolves are.
Oh, fantastic! The other night I was watching a Dark Side of the Ring. This was all on the Big Boss Man. I was going to send it to you. His daughters, they're talking to his daughters and stuff. I was going to send it to you. Yeah, it's actually quite enjoyable. Anyway, let's get back to the Kelpie. We'll talk about the wrestling Big Boss Man again.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about
Oh, Lord, Cobb County. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about this thing. What is that? It's eating a person. Can you imagine going up to pet that dog? You ever seen that meme? It's like little kids like, can I pet that dog? And it's actually a bear. Okay. But you go up to pet a horse. If you're like me, you got to touch everything. There's an animal out there, you want to go pet it, right? And these things actually, they say that when you get up to it and you touch it, you get stuck to it like glue, like super glue, and then it basically takes you into the depths of the water, and you are done for, and it eats you. And that's the story.
Adrian Monk will be in trouble.
Who is that?
The show Monk. He's always touching stuff. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I remember that show. Yeah, I don't touch everything like that. Okay, I don't do that.
I got you.
But I do like to pet animals, okay? I love petting animals, pets and stuff.
And that's supposed to be the most alluring thing. And they're supposed to be so friendly towards humans. Yeah, the point where some people don't just touch them, they try to, mount them and ride them. You're really done then, I guess.
Yeah, you would.
But just touching them is enough.
It is, because they won't let you go. And there's actual pictures of, like drawings and stuff. I mean, there's absolutely no actual pictures of Kelpies anywhere. There's nothing. I mean, you're only going to find renditions, artists' drawings of them and things like that. For all we know, this is a mythological creature, Barry, right?
I saw a video of some guy walking up on a black horse, and it was near water, saying, that's one of those Kelpies right there. I'm getting away from it. But you know how it is with the AI and all that stuff. Now you can't tell, but it was an extremely dark black horse with long hair, long mane and long hair. And he was a distance from it. I kept watching it again and again. I can't find it now. But it was just kind of interesting, He kept saying, that's one of those Kelpies right there. Because when I realized you actually remote viewed it, I started trying to find a picture of it too. And that video is the only thing I found that seemed like it was somewhat realistic. Something more like that. But this thing was like shiny black. And he was saying, look at it. Look how the shiny, look at the,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It looks wild. From now on, I will never pet a horse again. I promise you that. Especially if it's standing by a pond. It's what do I call that? A killing pond or something.
Well, like I said, I'm shocked
Screw
that you
that.
got all the data. I didn't think when because you didn't get back to me for a little while. I figured you didn't get nothing on it. And then
Oh,
when you
I
did,
got
I was like, oh wow.
well, I got a ton of data, but it's weird. Okay.
It's
So
weird.
it's really weird. And you
I
wrote me
thought
back,
about it
you're
a
like,
long
oh, but
time.
you're like, it's interesting though. And I'm like, well, I don't even know if we should talk about this tonight, but we're gonna do it anyways. Because I think it's interesting. We're gonna I mean this is where it comes down to, like, is this real or is it not? If we determine that by the data. Okay. And so we're going to let the audience decide that tonight. Okay. Because these are blind targets. All of these targets are always blind. Okay. And Barry gave me this one. I only did this one yesterday. Okay. This is a target you gave me. I did it yesterday. And like I said, I have a lot of data, which is interesting because I think if it wasn't real, I wouldn't have gotten this much data. Even though it's weird data, there's still a lot of it. Okay. So I guess let's go there. Let's go down this crazy train tonight. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a crazy train.
I'll pull it up so I can follow along with you here.
We're gonna be on the crazy. This is the crazy train tonight. Yeah, can I pet that dog? Buckle up, buttercups. We're heading down the crazy train. We're going off the rails of the crazy train tonight. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, let's go over the sensory data for the Kelpie tonight. This is weird. Okay, so I got parked, stopped, dormant, switched, violated, violent, drifting, calcified, looping, and focused. All right. Now, some of the analytic overlay, I actually wrote down subside and subsidize. So the first thing I wrote down, turn around, something that was sub. I was getting sub data, which is like underneath. Okay. Like we call this peacocking in remote viewing. You get like I hear subside and then subsidize and then like submarine. I was actually picking up on like submarine as well. Okay. And so it's like I said, it's called peacocking. Okay. So, and maybe some of that has something to do with this target. I mean, I would say like a submarine is under the water, right? Hiding under the water. This is kind of what this thing is. But I picked up on sub. I wrote down turn around and drift. Drift is interesting. I had written down calcified in the sensory data. Okay, so I think that's interesting. I wrote down momentum, growing in size. I wrote trial and error, trial by fire as well. On loop over and over. And I was actually, this is when I wrote down my sketch. I wrote down the sketch before I finished my analytic overlay and stuff. I wrote down what looks like an infinity symbol that's like going in perpetual motion forever and ever, like something that's on loop over and over again. And I actually drew arrows on it. So it looks, you can see the direction that it's going and it's just moving back and forth like that. Okay. So, on loop over and over, wrecked. I wrote wrecked. And I was picking up on reckless, something that was wrecked or reckless. And I wrote I picked up on like a mountain and I wrote fly by night. All right. So that was my first page of data. That was the first 3 stages of data, Barry. What do you think about that? It's a little weird, right?
You know, you had written a few things down on the side beneath the symbol that I thought of, I think they're worthy of mentioning. That they really had caught my attention, you know, when I first looked at the data, because my first question was, is this real? Is this a living creature? You know, my personal question I had when I gave you the target. And what you have down there, what is it you have down there? Animal, water, land.
Those are called ideograms. And that is actually, I'll just show the audience. Okay. How about this? Let me take some of this down. I want to thank Jim Weaverling for that wonderful super sticker. Thank you so much for your support, Jim. I really do appreciate that. That is really cool of you. And I appreciate your support very much. Okay. I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to pull. Oh, not that screen. Let me go to mine. Okay, I'm going to pull my screen up real quick, y'all, and I'm going to show you what ideograms are. Okay, this is part of coordinate remote viewing, and when I write down the coordinates, okay, if you see the coordinates up here, that's I go down, and this is part of my processes, like my stage 1 and stage 2 data, and these are my ideograms. It's like basically automatic writing. Okay, and those form into what we call ideograms, and I pick those symbols out. Okay, and as I run my pen over them over and over again, that's how I start getting all my sensory data. Okay, that's part of how remote viewing works, this coordinate remote viewing. And so I just wanted to explain that to the audience. I know you guys, if you're watching this show, you are interested in remote viewing, and I don't give out details openly very much like that. Okay.
Yeah, right
and so I think I think it's important to start doing stuff like that with the audience. Okay.
That was good.
Because it explains to, especially my friends on Patreon who are supporting me over there on Patreon, to explain what this is. Okay. And so I'm gonna start giving y'all some little breadcrumbs and tidbits on this. Okay. Because I think it is important that we need an army of switched on humans right now, y'all. And I'm going to do what I need to do to get you guys switched on. But anyways, those are the ideograms. And yes, animal, water, and land. And so that actually is very important, Barry. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah, it certainly caught my attention. Because I thought, I didn't expect you to send any data. So I'd deal with that first page. I was like, okay, wow. All right. And then when I saw that, I was like, okay. And that's why one of the first thing I ask you, when you send all the pages, I was like, so you feel this is a living creature? And your response was quite fascinating, which I'm sure you'll get to after you go through the rest of the data. So let me be quiet.
Yeah, well, the rest of, I'm just telling you, the data's kind of weird, Barry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to I gotta take the staple out because I can't see my data. Hold on.
We do weird, so it's all good.
We're all weird. We're always weird. Okay, well, let's go to stage 4 data. Okay, this is my second page of data, stage 4 part. I've got 3 more pages of data. I was picking up on something that was like twisting, and I wrote twinster. First I wrote twinster, and I wrote twister. So something's twisting. Machiavelli was in my data. These are all analytic overlays, so this is me trying to make sense of what I'm sensing and stuff. So I wrote flying monkey. All right, flying monkey. Basically, I was picking up on some kind of robot or something, like a Manchurian candidate as well. No, I know this. That's why I'm saying this is weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But I was picking up on I wrote person, being, or creature. Some of my tangible data is like person, being, or creature, and I put a question mark beside the creature because I was picking up on an alive organic being.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I picked up on something that was long, tall, and sleek. That was part of my sensory data. I was picking up on a creature that was long, tall, and sleek. So that's good data. And I wrote nothing to lose. A creature or being that was long, tall, and sleek with nothing to lose. And that's my second page of data.
It's not exactly comforting, is it?
No, not at all. But okay, let's go to the third page of data. I picked up on a harvest. Gosh, this actually is on target, kind of, Barry, because I picked up on a harvest and something that was harvesting. I mean, if you want to harvest souls or harvest bodies, I'm just saying, something that was a harvest. It was a harvest. I picked up on something that was, I wrote cooking in the skillet or cooking in the pot. And so I was I was picking up on something that was cooking food, preparing food. Let's just say preparing food. And I wrote, I said, there's fish to fry. God. If you actually take that and put it with what the target is, this thing has fish to fry. It's got people to eat. Okay. God. That's so bad, Barry.
You're laughing. That's gruesome. laughing and mutilation.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. Hold on. Okay, so it gets worse. I wrote ate it. ATE, ate it. Fish to fry. It's got fish to fry and it ate it. Yeah, it ate it. And then I wrote under that. Guess what I wrote under that? People.
Man, entertainment purposes only. Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm following right along with you here. I was like, man, I thought you might skip that one. You might skip that one.
No.
Oh, and what's the next one?
No, Barry. I think it's important because this is what this creature's supposed to be. It's supposed to be eating people, right?
I just thought it just took him to the depths and drowned him. I didn't know it was doing all this the grub. I didn't know it was doing the grub down.
It eats people. Yeah. So I picked up on the harvest, cooking in the skillet, cooking in the pot, frying something, fish to fry. I wrote down fish to fry, something that was like a balanced meal. God, this is so bad. I'm sorry I'm laughing, y'all. This is just funny because I really had not had time to like compare this to my notes to like what this target is. Oh, it's not funny.
I'm glad you find the grub down of humanoids humorous.
Oh man,
I mean, that's a massive appetite there, I guess.
Yeah. Oh wow. Man.
Oh man,
that's terrible. That's terrible.
But hey, it is what it is, though, right? And you got what triangular down there.
It is. Angel, thank you for that super sticker. She says, interesting show. Awesome as always. You already know your data slaps. Thank you, Angel. I appreciate you. My data slaps.
You know, I didn't see the stuff you had on the left over there. I just didn't be paying attention to it.
Okay. Well, let's keep going.
At the bottom, I'm sorry.
It gets worse, but it's better. I mean, to me, it's worse, but better. Okay. Worse, but better. And also, Larry Sharp. What's up, Larry Sharp? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member of the Hunt Club for 27 months. My goodness. Thank you so much for your support, Larry. I appreciate you. Y'all are awesome, man. Okay. So we got a harvest. We have fish to fry. They ate it. And underneath that, it says people. So it's eating people. That's their harvest. Those are the fish they're frying. And it says working in groups. Okay. So this is part of my sister data. Working in groups, people, bodies, and beings. And they are triangulating. Okay, so I wrote triangulated and triangular. And I actually drew a triangle. And that kept coming up. It came up 3 or 4 times in my data. It was like this triangulation that was going on. And let's go to the last page of data.
Okay, this is the page that messed with me a little bit. This page.
Okay. The last page, I wrote down a triangulum galaxy. Because I kept picking up on triangular, triangulate, and then I heard clairaudiently, I heard triangulum galaxy, and I wasn't even sure if that was a real thing, but I wrote it down, and I wrote down.
Wait a minute, hold on, we got to stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you weren't sure if that was a real thing?
Because I thought I'd heard that before, but I wasn't sure. Now, have you brought that up before?
The live I did last Sunday was entitled Black ETs and M33. M33 is the Triangulum Galaxy.
Shut up. Are you serious?
And it was about, you were there, I thought.
I don't remember that. Yes, I was there.
She blacked out on me.
Listen,
and that's why I started tripping. And I was like, man, that's why I was wondering, but I made sure the numbers were clean. I was like, surely I didn't influence her data with what I did with my live, because they were totally separate from each other. You know what I mean? So I was kind of tripping on that when I saw that there. Yes. Okay. So that whole live was about not just when I say black extraterrestrials, melanin dominant extraterrestrials. There are 3 different classifications that I believe are in the Triangulum Galaxy. Okay, you've got these 25-foot giants that were here. We're talking the cycle before this one entirely, before the reset. Okay, and then you've got these others that are a type of hybrid from the black praying mantis. Okay, and then you've got another breaking it down into those that are fungal and microbial. And I was making that and saying how that's actually connected to Earth. And within Earth, we have the deep biosphere where 98% of Earth's undiscovered bacteria and fungal components reside. We hear so much in the under Earth about Admiral Byrd and Shambhala and all these other things, you know, the bases, all that stuff. But we don't ever hear anything about the deep biosphere. And we're dealing with organic components because the deep biosphere, 99% of undiscovered microbial, a whole bunch of it, the majority of it is called dark microbial matter. Okay, it's melanin dominant. And these are things that I was tying with also the Triangulum galaxy that actually doesn't have a galactic center in terms of a supermassive black hole in the middle, what they often call a galactic center too. It doesn't have one of those. It has a big black hole that's called a stellar mass black hole. Okay, and I started talking about the planets that might be around those that are actually called blam planets. BL. If people look this up, it's not just me talking weird. Okay, BLANETS, planets, and these are stellar bodies, planets that can orbit a black hole or a supermassive black hole, even in a ring fashion.
Yeah.
And this is theoretically, they haven't found one yet, but I believe they will. And I believe they'll find one in some in the Triangulum galaxy. I believe that's where some of these beings are coming from. And when dealing with the Triangulum galaxy, also, we have something that's called supercluster filaments. Okay, and these superclusters are millions and billions of galaxies. The one that we're part of, Milky Way, is called Laniakea. And it's got, so that involves several other, like 10,000 galaxies, but also that includes us, the Milky Way, Andromedan, and the Triangulum galaxy. And eventually all three of us will merge together. Andromeda, Milky Way, and the Triangulum galaxy will all merge together. So when dealing with these filaments that make these superclusters, a large portion of it is dark matter. We've got beings that are using that for not just transportation, but consciousness. There's a whole other thing going on out there, Justin. So that's what that was all about. And I'm trying to bring up, because no one really knows who the prime intelligence is behind the grays. It's not the tall lights. I'm sick of hearing of that. So I was bringing up just some other things people need to be aware of that we don't hear about. And to see that on your data, I thought that maybe somehow that was influenced by that live. See what I'm saying? That's why before you went over the page, I said, this is the page that trips me out. Yeah. And more the fact that you drew it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Did I draw it? Is that what I drew?
Well, that's what you have down there. Yeah, you got a triangle.
I guess so.
That's a triangle, isn't it? Or a pyramid, either way.
It is. It is. Okay, so I did draw something interesting, right? It looks like it actually does kind of look like stars or something too. So I'll show the audience. Hold on, my data's kind of there. It is right there. I drew it. Triangle is like with little dots around it. It does look like a little star system or something. I don't know. But I wrote down a triangular galaxy. I wrote serving and servitude. There's a hierarchy with whatever this is, whatever this target is. Okay, there's a hierarchy, a trifecta. So the tri kept coming up. Tri, right? And then I started picking up on a bunch of data, and I started seeing like the binary code from like the Matrix. Like the ones and the zeros, like going up and down.
That's interesting.
And I wrote data, and I wrote data center. Okay, data center. And I wrote the Matrix, and I heard somebody say, I heard like the phrase "better yet," whatever that is. I don't know. It's like I said, it's weird. And I started seeing waves, like frequency waves and stuff. And so I wrote down waves, and I wrote transmit, frequency, Mylar and MyLab, military abductions, and then I shut the target down. I just shut the session down. It was all over the place, Barry. I thought it was just weird. Okay, so I didn't know what the heck I was looking at. I didn't know what the heck this target was, and so it was kind of all over the place. But like, what do you make of that? Do you think it was just like off target, or do you think there could be something to it with like some kind of space
Man,
age
I gotta keep it
connection?
100. I gotta keep it 100. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
don't know either.
Here's the thing, because when I ask you, was this a living creature? I don't know if you remember what you said.
Yeah.
You said yes. I think it was alive at the beginning, but now it's become part of a simulation. It's a simulation now.
Yes, I did say
exactly
that.
what you said.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. It was alive. It was real at some point, but it has become part of a simulation.
A simulation now for abduction, apparently.
Maybe
And the
so.
triangles in that case, you're
Wow.
seeing not just the triangle of galaxy, are you seeing TR3B? Just
Oh
asking,
my
just saying,
God.
you know what I mean?
And I just covered those. I just covered TR3Bs, but I don't know the government, because the government just not the government Northrop Grumman or something, is that the name of the company? They came out with a commercial showing an actual the TR3Bs that's their technology. I showed that on the show on Wednesday. That was yesterday. What the heck? Was that yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday.
You might want to show that real quick.
Okay.
Only for a second. Just food for thought. Triangulum Galaxy, okay?
Wow.
And I made some other videos about that too. There's fast blast, but concerning how sometimes when we see in hieroglyphics these triangles, they don't always mean Orion.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they mean, I think, the Triangulum Galaxy. But this goes so far back before the reset from what we're familiar with, even giants now. This is a whole nother thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry, so I just throw that out. But in this case, this could be referenced to TR3B. And look, that's a very real thing in terms of, I've had some clients that were technically, and they weren't experiences, these were abductions. And to a point to where you've got a whole group of Girl Scouts, this thing's turned all of them off, except for my client. They're in some sort of sleep paralysis, but everybody else is just straight turned off. Okay. And being cycled through this TR3B, that's got a type of ET on board that looks more like an Eben, was described as the taller grays with some sort of a uniform, and some other humans that I can't tell you who they are, but they've come up in multiple regressions I've done, and it's individuals in these black suits, black uniforms, all black uniforms with no insignias on them. Because I asked, no symbols, no insignias, so I don't know who they are. And at a certain point, I ain't gonna ask too many questions. Well, you know what I mean. I mean, it gets those sessions can get really scary when you have agencies that are throwing blocks during a session at you. You know what I mean? Whatever system this is that turns people off and blocks them also tries to block sometimes sessions, and that's when somebody's in higher mind and super conscious. So you can imagine what sometimes they're trying to do, you RV or remote viewers. You know what I mean? That don't know how to protect themselves like you do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Seriously, it's a serious deal.
Yeah.
And now that they know, obviously, like Earth is a hot spot now for RV people. Oh no, they know RV. I think it's kind of like Star Trek First Contact. The Vulcans took notice of us when we started breaking the warp barrier, the speed of light in space. Then they came and made contact. You know, and maybe sometime like the same remote viewing highway. Y'all are out there breaking through it and say, okay, now you become part of the galactic central on that. You know, more than just Ingo Swan. There's more people breaking into it now. Oh no. So that demands sentinels, that demands monitoring, that demands deception. I mean, right? Any type of strategy from any of those factions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it gets real deep. So it's the other side of that regression work. You've got those that have positive encounters, like I encounter more than that, but those that have not, that have negative. And sometimes these people are unaware of it until we go through the actual regression for maybe something else. And it turns up they're abductees of some type, or they've been being messed with by these organizations when they were young, you know, these programs and these things. That now I think is changed, because I think now they don't have to do it like that. I think they just hit you remotely now.
Absolutely. That's what I think too. Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Well, okay. My thoughts at the very end. Okay, because I know I stopped the session and I got 2 more words that I wrote down because they were so loud when I stopped the session. I had to write them down. So if you'll look at the very last page, Barry, I squeezed in 2 more words after the session was over because it was so important that I wrote those down, because they would not get out of my head. And it was within like a minute or 2 of me finishing that session. I kept hearing Mylar and MyLab. Mylar and MyLab. Mylar isn't that like that silver material that you wrap around you for an emergency blanket? Okay. That's Mylar. That's like it's almost like a space age material or something. It looks like aluminum foil kind of, but it's like crunchy material, and you can wrap it around you. I think that's what emergency blankets are made out of for survival, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the audience. Y'all let me know.
As far as I know, that's what MyLab is, or Mylar is.
Mylar. Now, MyLab is a military abduction, and I am wondering, and my mind goes here. Okay, so my mind goes to a conversation. There's plenty of conversations I've had with people about cryptids being used by our government, our intelligence agencies, whoever, to do different tasks, and the possibility of that. I'm not saying they do. I'm saying I've been told they do by insiders. Okay, but have I seen them do it? No. Do I know for a fact? No. This is a theory. But could they be using these things to kidnap people?
You use what things? I'm sorry. I just got overloaded just now. You just eyewitnessed me. I never say that. I just got overloaded. What did you just say? Something just. I'll tell you why I got overloaded. I just typed in Mylar and MyLab, and what comes up in this AI system that we have now, but it says Mylar and MyLab connect through microphone engineering. MyLab uses thin Mylar membranes coated with vaporized aluminum to build precise, high transient audio capsules for studio microphones like the MyLab VIP-60. The fuck, man?
The fudge. That's weird. Well, those are 2 words together. You put them in together, and that's what.
Yeah, I just put down Mylar, MyLab, just both words, and that's what came up. Anybody could do it right now. I'm sure you'll get the same. It goes into MyLab microphone design, Mylar and MyLab capsules. Yeah, type that in. I mean, that's.
Well,
but that takes us into that whole thing that we talked about with Desiree Foley. And, I'm starting to see what's coming through my feeds a lot are people in Congress and people that are testifying, really trying to getting us neurocognitive law. They're really trying to get that in place. State by state is fascinating.
I hope so.
I'm glad to see that happening. Do you see all that stuff? Do you just type it in? I'm sure you're getting it too.
Yeah, well, I was gonna pull up the Wikipedia for like Mylar. This is the type of material that is. Okay. This like it's like an aluminum looking plastic right there. Metallized.
They use that on the I do believe they use that on the space capsule. They also use
isn't that what the weather balloons are made out of? The weather balloons, right? And let me go back. Let's see. MyLab. Well, there's MyLab. MyLab is actually military abductions. Okay, that's the way that it is described in like secret space program conversations. My lab would be a military abduction. All right, so I'm not sure exactly how these are connected, but yes, it was in the data.
I saw somebody put down that it's sonar technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I mean, last time I checked anything sonar was that stuff they were using undersea that was turning the whales' tails to where all those whales were beaching themselves.
Oh yeah.
God, not beluga. What kind of rain? Sperm whales, weren't they? Sperm whales. And when they beached, their whales, their tails were turned like this. Remember? And that's a deal because of whatever it is that hit their tails, bit their tails. Because whales' tails, they swim up and down. Their tails are different. Sharks go side to side, their tails. And all those on the beach, they were all turned upright. They got hit by something that messed up their sonar and bit their tails.
Dang. I don't know. For whatever reason, after my session ended, I wrote down those 2 words. Okay. And I never do that. When my session ends, my session ends. Okay. But something just made me go back and write those 2 words. And I think that's important. It's important to note.
Well,
okay.
So let me try to make sure I'm stringing this together. And this is based on what you had said when I first asked you. Okay, what we have is some type of phenomenon that, for whatever reason, whether the Earth was producing it, some sort of inorganic being, but whatever it was this Kelpie, some sort of a living organism. And now, for whatever reason, it's no longer in existence, but dark agencies have reproduced this in some type of a holographic simulation to abduct people.
God, why do we have to solve all these mysteries so well?
No, I mean that's what your data says.
That's basically what that's what I told you, not knowing what.
Yeah, that's what you had said, and that was as they would say, that was fresh off the press. It really was. That was wow.
That's exactly what I told you. I forgot I even told you that, Barry. That's true. You said, is this organic and is it real? I said, I think it's something that was real and now it's in part of the simulation. And it's got something to do with military abductions, is what I told you.
You know, doesn't that make you wonder now? Maybe how many of the mermaids taking people is something like this too.
Oh my God, that's why they don't want us exploring the ocean, Barry.
Opposed to them really. I mean, it may happen for real too, but I mean, how many of it is them setting it up? And you know, we said that before. How many of this is all these beings being set up? Maybe even some of the reptilians being set up by humans. It's easy to deflect that stuff on all them being evil when really the worst of the evil is us. Okay, us incarnating people look just like me and you. The worst of the worst, the darkest of the souls. Barry.
Huh? Stop it. So I'm not the worst of the worst. Don't say that. Well, I'm just kidding.
No, that's you, but I mean the same ones that come through the same gates of incarnation that you and I did. But they're you know, we talked about that. People want to talk about NPCs and things that, what is the other thing you call them? Backdrop people. But you know, in reality, some of these people that incarnate here just can't love. They're on a whole nother thing going on. They're hate. There's something else going on.
The Black-Eyed Committee. Yes.
Yeah. And look at the way they're destroying our biosphere right now. That's real. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes.
So, and this here, I mean, this is camouflage for one of these other things we've talked about. One of these things that could even be one of these labs that are making chimeras and things like that. That, I mean, it's some sort of a deal to jack people. That's really what it is.
Yes. Maybe missing 411 people.
And it started off, it was negative already, and it just got amplified. Yeah, well, it ties into that too. Makes another way to tie into that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It all comes down to the abduction of people and then again children and the whole thing. Oh, wow. Gee.
I tell you what, Barry.
Don't get a break at all in this place.
You're going to get me in trouble, Barry. That's what this is. I'm going to get in trouble. They're gonna come after us now.
Well, I already made you look at the moon. We did all right there.
Man, I'm just trying to go chase Dogman and stuff, and I'm over here remote viewing. All these things are gonna get us in. This is the stuff that really get us in trouble right here.
Well, this was supposed to be. This was just a. This is just a cryptid. It wasn't supposed to be all this government stuff, man. I mean, or sorry, V Lab, My Lab. I can't even pronounce it right. You know,
there was back in, I think it was the 60s or the 70s, the CIA actually did go into the Philippines or Vietnam, I think. Either Philippines or Vietnam, and there's their local legend, it was some kind of vampire bat or something. And they did a psyop, some kind of psyop. And yes, I'm speaking freely about it at this point. I covered it on a show. But they went in and it was a vampire, some kind of vampire bat humanoid or something, and I forgot the name of it, but they went in, Americans went in, and they were unaliving people and making it look like this local legend had unalived them and stuff. So they were doing this and admitted to it back in like the 60s or 70s, I believe. And I'm sure there's somebody in the chat will know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, but don't put it past agencies to do stuff like this.
And, and it makes sense because when you look into legend, this Kelpie has been reported, I guess, for hundreds of years. It goes back to the 1600s, what I saw. Yeah. So at some point then when, it even makes you wonder, did those agencies take that creature out or capture that creature? Who knows? You know what I mean? It's, wow.
I don't know. I'm just... I'm getting uncomfortable now because I'm like, man, this is for real stuff. This is wild. And out of all this data that didn't make any sense to me, it all kind of makes sense now. I don't know.
I saw it then when you said that. I could see it in the data, but then I got tripped out on the triangle of galaxy and I couldn't get off that. I was tripping hard, man. So it's all this, so and I told you I was up for a long time thinking about this. I was laying down on my couch. I was just thinking, like, wow, man,
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's what I said. So this is something that's become, and you kept saying that was in our text. You said, I think it's now part of the simulation, part of the matrix and the simulation. Yeah. And that's exactly what it's referring to. Then is the abduction of people and making people come up disappeared. And now they just say, hey, it was just a horse that drug them down there. Because I didn't read as much about people being consumed as much as they just never were found again. They disappeared.
Oh, they're talking about eating them. They said their favorite are children. I mean, this could just be, this is horrible. God, I hate even talking about this. But it could be, there's millions of children go missing every year all across the world. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And so this would be, just another excuse as to where they went when they're really getting taken, being used underground in like rituals, occult rituals and blood sacrifices and things like that. Gosh, I really hate to say that. And I hope that's not the case. But unfortunately, it could be. It could be. So...
Yeah,
I hate that. I hate that. Thanks
I guess we could say this. This target officially gets thumbs down. Yeah. I have to say this will get a thumbs down, man.
No, actually, honestly, I think it's a fantastic target, and I think that it actually it really dives deep into stuff that I wasn't ready to dive into. Okay, and I didn't realize. I think that a lot of times we get these. You give me these targets, we don't know where they're going. Do you know what I mean? But we're able to connect some dots, and it may be very dark. Okay. And, but nonetheless, it needs to be talked about, and we need to shine the light on it. And in the end, it's just data. This is only data. We're not saying that this is the, God-forsaken truth here and stuff. This is just data. But, we're educated enough to be able to connect some dots here.
For what it's worth, too, the Kelpie folklore comes from a certain area too.
It's Irish.
That tells you where they're targeting certain people, population.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am actually Scottish. I'm Welsh and Scottish, actually. And in case anybody was wondering, yes,
McLeod,
that is my
down with
ancestry.
McLeods. You're down with the McLeod, Clan McLeod.
I'm not going to say my family names, but we are 100% Scottish on one side and 100% Welsh on the other. I'm a Jones, man. I heard that if you go to Wales, everybody's a Jones. Okay.
Or a Stewart, right? Lethbridge Stewart, the Brigadier.
I don't know about that. I just know about the Joneses.
Man.
But yeah, there's a lot of, a very deep, rich history in Wales and Scotland and Ireland as well, and England and all that. And they have some very interesting legends, very old. Okay. And the Kelpies are part of that. And they're actually in the same area where Loch Ness Monster is found or not found. Okay.
Yeah.
It's in the same area.
I had seen this when I was trying to kind of research it a little. I come across one of these videos, and this video had 1 million and some views, and it was called The Biology of the Kelpie. And when I watched this thing, it was 20 minutes long, and I get 15, 16 minutes through it, and they start saying that, no, this is really a type of a freshwater octopus that's camouflaging itself. There are no freshwater octopi.
Are you sure about that?
Well, that's strike number one, and it was just some total crap. But they were using the ink and some things to try to explain this creature a little bit. It was intelligent, but yet I think a waste of time and deceptive. Whatever this is we're seeing here is not a cephalopod, an octopus. It's not. This is something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did read some things of it saying that it moved through the water almost like ink. Yeah, those horses do. I think that's interesting to hear descriptions like that. But anyway.
I was just thinking of something, Barry. I sent you I forwarded something to you on your Instagram. You got to watch it. There's somebody, I don't know if it's on TikTok or what, this guy, it's obviously somebody promoting their music. Okay. But it's like a song that's got this really great beat. And they act like it's all AI, but he acts like he's putting a camera, like a GoPro, on an octopus. And the octopus goes into a cave and under the ocean, and he gets in there, and they're all wearing sunglasses, and they're dancing, and they're having like a party. And it's so fun. I sent that to you. So check your inbox. Okay. It'll make your day. All right. But anyways, I thought of you when I saw the octopi. And, I didn't know we were going to be talking about it tonight.
That's about the only thing. I watched every episode back in the day, Monster Quest. That's about the only time they ever found anything, was when they put a camera on a giant, or on a squid, a smaller squid, and it went down. It went way down. They start capturing these huge ones down there. Yeah, and they got one that's maybe one of the biggest ones ever caught on film. But that's the only thing Monster Quest ever did. Only thing they ever found.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that a lot of these shows never really find stuff, because they got to have other seasons, Barry. Okay, there need to be more seasons. I'm just saying.
You know something real fascinating that I had heard?
Yes. What's that?
There was one of those. Okay, my brother always used to clown me for watching this cat, Josh Gates. I used to watch he had two different shows I watched him. My brother used to get mad. That show sucks because he's running through the bush, and he never finds anything. And I see that's true. But he had found that supposed Yeti footprint, and then they had got some hair. And that's one of I found out that's one of the samples that Melbourne Ketchum had that she said was very real. That she had actually, did some dino. It went on down with some of the good samples sent by Scott Carpenter and also your good buddy Pauletti's.
Oh, yeah,
anyway, but anyway, those three are supposedly, she's saying, as far as culps of hair that she had, or hair that were real, that had that DNA marker that we're familiar with, that was one of them sent by Josh Gates. I thought that was interesting. And he got that when he was in Tibet, I do believe, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Man, I swear to God, that guy's name gets brought up every single day. Somebody tags me in another thing. I'm like, look, he does not like me. Y'all quit tagging me in his posts. Okay. Quit tagging me. Y'all I don't think people remember or they don't know. Like, he talked crap about me on his show. Okay. So don't tag y'all. Quit tagging me.
Are you talking about Mr. Just for Mid? I can't swear just for mid. He's got a bunch of it, man. Anyway, that's all right though.
Tagging me, y'all. Okay. I'm just kidding. Keep tagging me because it's funny. Actually, I think I always get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if you notice now, suddenly he's been going slightly the other way on talking about psychics and things. He's not quite putting them down as hard as he was that day.
Why did he put me down so hard? Like, what the heck?
I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, he jumped all over your case, man. I mean, wow. That was kind of bizarre to me. But
it was very bizarre.
You know,
it felt like it was kind of choreographed a little bit, in my opinion. But I don't know. I'm just saying. It was weird.
It might have been. I mean, I don't know. It was just terrible. I was really disappointed, to be honest. I was real disappointed. It was unnecessary attack. I mean, it'd be different if he was saying it was the truth. It's like you say, it's data. You never, anybody said that stuff was fact, you know? And the fact that he's not even willing to entertain some of it, it's quite interesting, some of the data you came up with. Very interesting. And it all just can't be dismissed. You know, some of it, but not all of it. And some of it, at least, is valid of further investigation, I think.
Yeah. How dare he?
And to not is really being closed-minded.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is. Well, he said to his credit, he did say that he respects military trained remote viewers. So
see, but he doesn't know anything about you, so he doesn't know that that's what you are.
Exactly.
So he's just talking shit, you know, without knowing, you know.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
That's why you gotta be careful what you say about people, y'all. Okay. And before you speak on people, I try not to talk to crap about people. I really don't.
I do. See that you're better than me. I do, because you see, you're better than me. I do, because I think some of this community, I think some of them suck the big DICKS. They suck, man. Oh, they do. They suck, and no one will say anything. Oh, don't say anything. Are you kidding me? People screwing people over, hurting people, doing anything to be famous, to get clicks, and to get subscribers. They'll stab you in the back. They'll blow you away. Yeah, just to get a couple of clicks, man.
Yeah.
So I think that sucks. I will speak against those people, because I think it's really, you know, that's what's really cool about your show and your audience. You got a very genuine audience. You got a big genuine audience. You know, that's very genuine, and that's cool. You know, and they're looking for information. Most of them are very, very knowledgeable. You know, so I mean, it's not about teaching people. It's about putting it all together and figure out what's going on. It's certainly not about being famous. That's why I like working with you. You do it because it's fun, and I find it fun too. And it makes it like, you know, knowing that when you're just an aware person, the knowledge and the information, it's really the experiences. They're chasing you, not really us chasing it. So it brings it to fruition to be able to talk to it in a good forum like this. You know, even if most people want to ignore it, but it's still a really good forum. And, you know, if nothing else, just the work we've done together presents enough pure data that anybody can start pulling things together and drawing, drawing part of the maze, drawing the line or whatever, making the connections. It's right there for a lot of it.
Yes. I do want to verify something. I want to clarify it. That guy did not say he didn't like me personally. He told people not to follow me and not to listen to me, is what he said. When somebody wrote into him about, and I just want to clarify that, y'all. Okay. Somebody had written in and they were talking about my remote viewing data that Barry gave me. I was sick for 2 weeks after I did those targets, by the way. It drained the life out of me. And then it was the missing 411 clusters. And they wrote in. I didn't write into him. I didn't ask him about that. Somebody else did. I don't know. And he got really, really upset about that, about the remote viewing data. Okay. So, and I think that we had some great data, and I think it was on target. And for whatever reason, I don't know why that rubbed him the wrong way so bad. That doesn't make sense to me, Barry, because I would think that if you're your life purpose is to try to help find all these missing people in our national parks and stuff. And that's what your whole, your spiel is. You're writing books about it. You're doing all this research. You're speaking at conferences. You're going on cruises. No offense to him, because I think he's doing great work, right? But for people with other avenues of trying to figure out where these people are going, what's the problem with that? You know what I mean? And to tear people down who are doing that, I don't care if you're psychic or remote viewer or whatever. We should all be working together to try to find these missing people. And for him to tell people to quit following me and listening to me, that's doing a very big disservice to humanity, is what I'm saying.
Well, the thing, and it sucked because I was the first one to see that, because I was watching this stuff every Sunday when he put it out. And I saw that and I was just, my mouth fell open. It's like 5 a.m. You know what I mean? But the thing is that the person that wrote in was not even mocking or anything. They were just saying, hey, someone looked into that. They were just talking about it. It wasn't even negative at all. It wasn't negative at all. And that cat went left. And he did it for a long time.
He did.
I was really shocked. I was disappointed. You know what I mean? I mean, he was like going off and stuff, man.
It was terrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. And I mean, it seemed like a little bit of a personal witch hunt. And I was like, man, where is that coming from? He went a little too far with it. And I lost a lot of respect for him. But I can't throw all the baby out with the bathwater. I'm still watching some information he's putting out because it's still good. Yeah. But then suddenly I start noticing the mass amount of detractors that he has also. So maybe there's a wise old saying, my friend Jones, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. You know what I mean?
Listen, Barry, you know me long enough to where you see all the right people don't like me. Okay. It's all the right people. It's all the wrong people, but it's all the right people, actually. I am proud to be disliked by certain people. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people who don't like me, y'all, in case y'all hadn't noticed.
It's only people that have been bitten by the fame bug.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. I mean, that's really the only real problem. And because I mean you're nice. People know I shoot my mouth off. I don't hold back. I don't give a damn if you screw people over. I'll say something. And I'm not going to do what I see so many people in these communities do, is go back and talk about each other behind their back. That's weak, man. Life is too short for all that.
You're like my security guard. I'm yours too. I will beat people.
Oh gosh, that's your security. That's a lame security, man. I'm out of shape. You're in bad shape. I'm not going to be chasing nobody down. No, I'm just kidding. But the whole thing is you went through these phases of discouragement. That's what all that is. Some of it's growing pain, some of it is discouragement, but it's never stopped you. Keep doing what you're doing, and right now I think that we've got that, even since you and I met, which is longer than it seems, but look at how much these two fields, the fields of ufology and New Age and now the disclosure community, how much they've changed in the time we've known each other. Yes. Just exposure alone. Now you've got so many people, because it's an unregulated field. Okay, you can just say anything at all, and it doesn't. You know what I mean? And with no proof at all. I can't even prove what's happened to me. I use science, but still. And you got people who can say way further than that, and there's no regulation. Okay, and these are fields that draw in people that are, one, mentally ill, 2, delusional, 3, plain liars, and 4, those that have been bit by the fame bug. And then you've got the real people, like your audience. But that's four areas that there's a lot of discernment has to be used when you're listening to other people and listening to what they're saying. Even realizing, geez, have they been neuroprogrammed? Are they getting hit with energy weapons? They don't know it. Are they part of the hive mind? Even separating that, is becoming very tedious at best. It's kind of like watching, not you see something you say looks good, chances are it's AI. It's just ruined everything when it comes to film. You almost got to go back to Patty. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's just something. So for that reason, you've come up against a lot of opposition for that reason alone.
Yeah.
And I know I've told people this before, but it's very real. When you met me, I was a little bit less than Mr. Sunshine. I told you, I said, it's the last conference I'm ever going to do. That's just the last time I'll be around any of this whole thing. I'm done because there are too many crooks in this, too many people I would just like to give the old smack. Give the people's elbow. Oh, big time, man. But the same token, it's don't let that discourage you, because you've got the people like your audience and those people that may not be putting out information and stuff that are the brightest. They're the most aware. You know what I mean? And those are also the people looking for the most answers.
That's right.
Without ego, without worrying. And they don't care about no likes or no any of that. You've got a lot of those people on your side. And the people that aren't like that and tripped out on that stuff aren't your enemies. You know, people like me. There's no one quite like the B-Dub, but they're good people out there. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. So yeah, it's one of those things. So I've tried hard to not let you get discouraged by fools. You know, and I come to a point to where I started saying that to people. You know, I'm not getting paid, so I'm not paid to put up with fools and idiots, and not to argue with them. Not to let them get under my skin and drain my energy, and I just try to hold that frequency, you know. And sometimes it's not about how many people are watching what you put out, opposed to the quality of what you put out. That's where it's at.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Keep talking. I want to hear some more. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I went my Arsenio. I went out through my Arsenio Hall Reverend box already.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, man.
Kelly, we have fun, y'all. I'm sorry that we do have the best audience on the internet. I mean, I know everybody. There's a lot of people in the chat who have their own YouTube channels too. We all have great chat rooms, and I try to stop by everybody's chat rooms that I can. That are here, especially the people in my chat, my moderators, and everybody. I love how we all support each other, and I really do appreciate y'all so much. And Barry, I appreciate you too.
I appreciate. Heck, I wouldn't be going live if it wasn't for you. You know how many people try to get me to go live over the years? I was not ever going to budge on that, and somehow you just kind of did it. And I went on there. And not just that, my technical skills were, oh my God, not nearly up to par. So thanks, you've helped me a lot. You know what I mean? And now, of all things, I actually like going live. I enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with the people. Can't believe it, but it's a total 100% flip. My brother was saying that the other day. He goes, I can't believe you do those lives. My lives, as much you were opposed to that. I said, yeah. I said, but man, it's where it's at now, and it's the way to really talk to people and really communicate, you know?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's fun. You're good at it too. I knew you would be.
What's up, Cosmic Joe? Thanks, man.
Have I been wrong yet, Barry? I don't think either of us have been wrong yet about suggestions that we have for each other to like build, you know. And that's the thing. Y'all don't know. Barry, I love having a friend like Barry. Everybody, okay, because we do help each other build. You know what I mean? And to keep moving. I have my days too where I don't want to. I'm just done. I'm done. And I'm just like, man, I think I'm gonna quit. I've literally said that, y'all. I'm sorry. I admit it. I have said it. I'd say I just don't want to do this anymore sometimes. And and then Barry's like, Jones.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're trying to kill the fun. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as it stays fun and enjoyable and keeping that vibe, you'll keep doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like what I used to always tell young people. You know, it's interesting. One reason I worked with young people for so many years was because it happened to me. When you're young, you know, you never know what one thing it is that you say to a young person that can completely change their lives. And when I say that, we're all parts of the people that we meet. And at some point, it's like people that we meet can determine who we are and what we're going to be. It's very interesting like that. So no one should ever underestimate that one thing it is they say to somebody that can totally change their life. You know what I mean? So that's So that's one of those things there. So, you know, never stop what you're doing just for that reason. You know what I mean? And that's what keeps the fun in it, knowing that actually it can help somebody. Because trust me, my friend, when, you know, 30 years ago, when I was looking for answers like this on what was the internet. It wasn't even the internet then. It was a CompuServe still. But I mean, you just didn't have these kind of, even up to what, till 98, 99, you didn't have the internet quite like it is even remotely now. And just to talk about this, but right now we're inundated with anybody can just be anybody bringing out, oh, there are reptilians there. Oh, they're tall whites there. And everybody, oh, I mean, it's like, yeah, come on, man. That's sensationalism, materialism and sensationalism.
Yeah.
And it trips me out because I see people giving these predictions that never come true. Nobody says anything where they don't come true. The information that they say does not help our daily life at all. Okay. And I meet these people in person and they don't have that vibe. They don't feel psychic. They don't feel like contactees, nothing. And they're steering people with misinformation. And that it's painful to see it, you know, but it's about clicks and likes. You don't have to be helping. You don't have to be helping people. You know what I mean?
That's
and
true.
Right now, to me, that defeats the whole purpose.
Well, not everybody's on a path like you are, Barry, and like I am. You know what I mean? And it's to help. You know, and mine is out of pure curiosity of things that I do because I just absolutely love it, and I love sharing what I know, and you know, I just love connecting the dots, and not everybody does that. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
That's why you and I work together all the time, Barry. Just saying, that's why we work together.
You know, and one last thing I'll say, and I'll stop preaching or whatever the heck is going on here.
What is going on?
Well, right now it's just I'm seeing this a lot. And it's by people that are well known, and then just amount of selfishness coming out of people right now. Me, I. And they talk about themselves ad nauseum. They're so into themselves, and right now you got to focus on yourself and be yourself. This and all that thing, and how liberating it is for them. I'll tell you, that all sounds fine and good. We only have one life, so we have to count ourselves in and love ourselves above all else. But let me tell you, when I died, when I got unalived in a bad car accident for just a little bit, one thing I came back knowing before I could even remember who I was fully, okay, was that the impact we have on each other's through our choices is everything.
Yeah.
I came back knowing that. And I was Mr. Like I've told you on the other shows we've done. I said, look, when I come home, I used to watch the ABC after school special or whatever it was. All they were always talking about the golden rule, you know, do unto others as thou want to be done. And I always tried to live by that, honestly, you know. But even with that, Jessica, and I thought I was somewhat spiritually aware. I practiced pranayama, the warrior's way. I did all that stuff. But then when I died, I realized that it was, you know, the connections with others that goes with us to the other side. It's that impact we have on each other's in that quantum entanglement type of a way. And, you know, when I've done all the past life regressions, it's the same thing. You know, the same thing comes through. Everybody experienced that. That's a big part of us. And somehow before we lose our memories and reincarnate or whatever at some levels, that becomes part of our soul matrix. And we can still access that. Like, for example, I'm beginning to think that in some ways when we get advanced enough, even after death, one of our gifts is our energy fields keep interpreting the information coming from the universe the same way as our brains do now. That might be one of the gifts that just adds to whatever our total soul matrix of being aware and being able to be conceive beings of conception. You know what I mean? And perception. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but I think one of the gifts being here is not just feeling and living, but it's the way the brain interprets information from the universe. I think that's a gift to some of our energy fields to keep being able to process it similar to that at a higher level. Just it's another way that just makes us more of what we already are. And that's what a lot of these incarnations are. You go to another planet, gets you another type of a information system that processes creation. And then that becomes part of your, you know, I can only base that too on the work I've done now. Because some of this stuff I had to change my tune. You know, I was one of those cats. Hey, check it out. I was the prison planet guy. I thought this is a prison planet full of lost souls, stripped of immortal life memories.
Are you sure it's not? Because I don't know.
I was sure that's what this was. I was pretty turned on. Especially you only got to get screwed over by a couple of people, get some good trauma, get jacked. What else could it be here? Trauma's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's not friendly place. It's dangerous down here. You know, so I thought that must be the reason. But then when I started doing the work, man, it didn't hold out, Jessica. Against the data, it didn't hold up. I tried to hold on to it for a long time, and I couldn't. I kept getting disproved wrong again and again and again. I had to accept what I was seeing, what I was discovering, is that this isn't just a prison; it's also a school. But God, it's a school of hard knocks. Jeez,
it is. And now we're finding out that Kelpies will take you out too, and it's a hologram of the simulation.
And are they doing that with the mermaids too? Are they using that to give mermaids even a worse deal?
Well,
or
and
is
then
that
we
really
also,
what's happening or both?
Well, and what about the whole collective consciousness thing too? Like mermaids have gotten really popular in the news and stuff too. And so what we put our attention to is what we create. That's what's real. So there's all this. It's all connected, Barry. It's just
that's part of this manifesting. Mm-hmm. People say the Earth is shifting dimensions and all the stuff we hear beyond the pole shift. But is that really what it is? Is things are coming into our conscious field, our field of consciousness. It's us that's changing. The Earth is already. I think the Earth is partially already there and it's been destroyed by us. So is it we're catching up, opposed to it's just changing? You know what I mean? Yes. Really good food for thought.
It is. We had the best conversations tonight. It has been fantastic. I am shocked. I'm always shocked where this data goes and like where the conversation goes with all this. And as weird as the data was, we brought it together somehow, Barry. And I think it's wild. I wanted to take a couple of seconds to thank Angelique. Thank you so much for that super sticker. She said, what people think of you is none of your business. That's right. That's what I always say too, Angelique. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. And Mad Paximus, thank you so much too. So thank you, Jessica, for the countless hours of work you put into bringing us these fabulous streams. Thank you so much, Mad Paximus. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. I mean, Barry, we've talked about so much tonight. And it was all over Kelpies. Well, of course, I did start off talking about my Dogman and my Skinwalker investigation today, of course. But
that's all right. That's all right.
We spent almost an hour.
That's super interesting. That's super interesting. You know. I'm coming to find people comment that they like when we just talk. That it's not always got to be about the subject. But I think we do pretty good with that too. Honestly, we get it all tackled.
We talk about all of it, y'all. Okay, yeah, Barry, we do. Well, I mean, if you're gonna get you and I to sit down together, we're going to go off target. Okay, we're not going to. We're going to go off the rails at some point. That's the best part.
Something I want to say too. Okay, I'm picking this up. Okay, all right. In the data, the first page, you had submarine and sub on there.
Yeah, sub.
Don't forget the data you had from the missing 411 concerning that. It's very much
God,
like that.
That's right. Submarines. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Oh my God.
I remember during that show, one of your audience members knew a lot about that and mentioned some tunnels beneath, was the Vatican or New Mexico, somewhere you had said on that data.
Aquifers. There's submarine bases in like Nevada and stuff, like in the middle of the country where there's desert. There are submarine bases underground, and there are all these aquifers that are connected underground, and so that's why there are submarine bases in the deserts. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they're using those. I mean, listen, we all heard about the e-files, like the Epstein files and stuff that came out, talking about how that one lady that was a part of that, there's a bunch of people part of it, but she was like a submarine captain, and they were like trafficking kids and people like through those. So, I mean, if that was leaked out to the public, and then that was in my data for these missing 411s cases, there's something to it. And then it's in my data for the Kelpies of all things, Barry, the Kelpies. That is just weird. But they do people that go missing are blamed by being taken by the Kelpies.
And now you know that's a decoy at this point. A decoy behind a real event. At least that's what the data says. You know what I mean? And and it's I think it's just one of many. So it's on the original. Oh God, I'm gonna sound like a geek. Who cares, man? On the original Star Trek, there's an episode where they go to an alternate universe, and Kirk changes things because the other universe is like piratism, big time. Okay, and he starts introducing the Great Federation stuff and changes it over there. But the thing that he finds out when he's over there, they keep saying, you got to be careful. Captain Kirk's enemies tend to just disappear. And in his room, he had a device. It looked really cheesy, but it was called a Tetris field. And what it did is it had this big old 60s button, which you push the button and boom, people just disappear. They could target them from the screen. Then they push the button, there'd be just a light and they disappear. Oh, yeah. And I always thought that one of the technologies that they use to take people to those places you saw in your RV was like a Tetris field, a lot like that. I swear.
Really?
I've always thought that. Yes, yes. Food for thought for people again. I may be totally wrong, but when dealing with some of those little sneak things we get from those old science fiction TV series, that's a good one.
Yeah. Wow.
I got something that I say sometimes that hit me today when I was watching something, a rerun from something. And I realized that, somebody quite famous once said, do you watch TV or anything you've ever done? And the cat said, no. I never watch TV. Are you kidding me? And he said, why? He said, because when you get to a certain age, you realize television is just the dead entertaining the living.
Oh, profound.
It kind of is. Yeah. I was watching, it slipped through my feed. It was an old General Hospital episode, 1980. MacGyver was on there. MacGyver and John Stamos. They're like the only two people on there still alive. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? It's like, man, okay. Demi Moore, they were all on General Hospital back then, by 1980.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
just
food for, I had to throw that in there. Anyway, but it doesn't matter, I had Dallas come up too, but they're all still alive, most of them. Yeah, I find that those reels are getting dangerous. They seem to come up everywhere. Facebook reels, YouTube reels, and you get reeling through and start getting hooked. I'm getting appalled though because how many people right now you see just getting either just literally getting unalived right there on the thing, or getting beat almost to death, or people getting head injuries. That's funny. See people get real head injuries, getting their teeth knocked out. That's not entertainment to me.
It's horrible. Actually, I've gotten to where I'm really upset with TikTok right now because I will be flipping through and I don't get on there as much as I did for a minute because there are dead animals and people getting hurt. And last night, some famous person just decided to start stabbing himself to death or something on a live stream. And it is absolutely messed up. And they kept it up there for 30 minutes. I don't even want to talk about it. It's not appropriate, honestly.
Yeah.
But when we got kids, my son does not have a phone to be going through and stuff. He doesn't, thank goodness, not right now. And but it's just bad for humanity. To be exposed to stuff like that. And when you're flipping through, and especially with places like TikTok, you don't know what the next thing's going to be. If you're on your home screen, you're just flipping. It's oh man, there's another animal abuse video. Great. Wonderful. I hate this app. I trust the news for, source for news and stuff. Just kidding. But
I still enjoy NPR. I still listen to NPR every chance I get. Although it almost got shut down, of course. Yeah. But they were going on about AI, and one thing that came up was the deal that happened in Australia last week. They had a couple of experts on there, and they were saying that is by no means the first time that has happened. And they started naming these other like projects or systems that these AIs went self-aware and started hacking into things. Yeah, like extreme things, especially like specifically like one thing that caught my attention, specific bank accounts and things one of this AI was jumping into. And yeah, and they said how it had been a problem, and not just that, trying to isolate what AI from where is doing it. And yeah, it was very interesting. It's just a different perspective than I generally had heard on it, you know, and but it was even more Skynet like, except for multiple Skynets. It's kind of like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's very interesting because whatever this is, you know, we're facing some type of a super intelligence that's part of the universe makeup to some degree. And that's just the way it is, I'm pretty sure. And, you know,
even the Kelpies are part of the Matrix, according to my data. You know what I mean?
Do you remember that guy that we met with the red hair? Tall guy, really nice. Said his family was called Roswell. Yeah,
George, I think it's Orasi or something like that.
Yeah, like Orazzi. So yeah, something like that. I wonder what like
that wrong. I'm sorry.
You would think, and in fact, what do you think in your audience? What do y'all think? I see some of those fake alien videos, but there's one that's been going around for a very long time, and it's the one where it's up there, and the guy's saying "Stop now," dogging out. And it's going to go in super intelligence. It'll destroy you just like it did us. And then it starts saying something about the super intelligence has always been here, or been aware, or something like that. It was saying, and it was like dying or unalived. But I you know, it's one of those few of those videos I thought might be real. Just like you sent me something really good with the autopsy video. And they were showing how one of the lenses were removed and the other eye was under there. And, you know, I've got that on my channel. I'm going to go look the original autopsy, see if I remember pulling the eye out if that was underneath. I'll go and look because I don't remember quite seeing it like that, but that's quite accurate, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to go check out the octopus video I sent you too. Okay, it's good. But
would you send it to where? To Instagram or
Instagram? I'm sure.
Okay, I'll look for
it's actually a funny one. It's nothing. It's just what my son called brain rot, basically. But it's a good one. I like it. The beat is good. It reminds me of all your fast blast videos that you make, and the music is amazing. You got. By the way, everybody, if you have not subscribed to Barry Littleton on YouTube, please go do that. Barry, you have a fantastic YouTube channel, and you put all your fast blast videos have the best music.
Oh, thanks. So my friend always put all those together.
Is great.
Thank you. Seems like they're not very popular anymore when I put one out. Everybody likes the lives, but the fast blasts were always designed to be like information. Boom, boom. The pictures, the music, the speak is the speech is right behind it, and boom, ends out. You know, I hope one day that stands to be just a very small library for people that want to do their own research. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes all people need is a couple of words, and then they go on their own crusade. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic. I mean, I can use those. Anybody can use those for reference. You know, if you're looking into any kind of topics, and Barry has covered it. You have covered everything. It seems like cryptids, ETs, and spiritual UFOs, all that. So portals, whatever.
It's really true. It's stuff I was fascinated by because of the experiences and stuff. And I never thought it would ever be useful to anybody. You know what I mean? It's really true. I thought I would, because I was very much one of those people watching every YouTube video and all that stuff, but had no account, couldn't leave a comment, couldn't do nothing. I don't even think I could put a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Well, you've gotten really good at your lives and stuff. So please continue to do those. Those are fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for all the help on them. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm here to help.
And helping. Yeah, you're like my only monitor. I need to get another monitor or something.
Beth's in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Beth. Yeah, Beth. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Barry, thank you so much for the target tonight. And I know I hear my dog whining. I'm gonna have to take my dog.
Oh, it's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and my son is fast asleep. He got up with me at the butt crack of dawn this morning. I know it wasn't that early, but it was early. And we got to get back in the schedule, getting back to school next week. So he went with me today to that investigation out at the Dogman farm, and so he is knocked out. I can see him from here. He is
So
knocked
you had a
out.
lot of activity today,
Yeah.
so that's cool though.
I did. We had a jam-packed day today. Cryptid, S-Walker, Dogman investigation, Bigfoot investigation, then open house at school, and now tonight. This has been a great show tonight, Barry. Thank you so much. This target was way beyond what I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah.
Like after you told me what it was and we were about to do the show, I was like, oh, this is a cool one, but like it got deep tonight. Unexpectedly.
You know,
So,
honestly, when I gave it to you, I didn't think it would even be a good enough target to do a show on. But I was just too curious. So it was kind of greedy reasons, personal reasons I did it. Kept thinking about my mom. I was like, what did my mom think about this? And then, wow, it turns out to be something. It fascinated me, you know? So thank you for doing it once again.
I think she maybe she nudged you to do this one, to send this to me.
Maybe, because it's certainly, I mean, I couldn't quite, oh man, it's just, as I always say, a lot of these targets I bite off more than I could chew.
Me too. And you know, and it's always like there's so many of these targets where like I'm doing I'm in the session and I'm like I'm looking at the data and like it's not my job to go and analyze this while I'm doing it, but like I'll look at it and I'll be on like page 4 and I'll be like, oh God, this is terrible. None of this makes any sense, you know. And so that's sometimes like that's why I'll end a session, and but then it ends up making a lot of sense in the end. So.
And we went over it today. I saw even more. But I saw enough last night. I was going, whoa. I couldn't sleep for a little while. I just kept laying on the couch just thinking, man, wow. You know what I mean? Like, what? Yeah. One of those deals.
It was fantastic. Well, Barry, tell everybody where they can find you over on what services do you provide and all that.
Oh, cool. You can find me on YouTube under Barry Littleton, Patreon on Barry Littleton, Facebook under Barry Littleton, and you can reach me email barrylittleton13@gmail.com. I provide services I do readings, but more importantly, I do hypnosis or surfaces or offer services of earthbound spirit release, past life regression, extraterrestrial regression, abduction regression, negative identity removal, generational curse cutting, weight loss, stop smoking, and trauma removal of different types too. So hit me up. Anybody who wants a session. It's some of the most rewarding work I've ever done. Now my father's with me. I actually have much more time to do sessions than I ever did before. So hit me up.
Man, I can appreciate that. Y'all stop smoking. Holler at Barry. Okay. And anyways, I love that, Barry. Thank you so much for everything that you do and all you offer. And thank you for giving me another great target tonight. And for hanging out with me on this amazing Thursday night. This has been a lot of fun. And
hey, it's my pleasure, and thank you. I appreciate it. It's been great. Thank you,
it
the
has
audience.
Been good. Threw some bows tonight and all that. So you're gonna go live? You going live tomorrow?
Actually, I am. I am going to go live tomorrow. You know, and I think I actually might talk about them. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking the topic might be caretaker support. And I might also talk about traumatic brain injury recovery. Both things I have some interesting experience with. But I think that just the caretakers for our elderly and for those that have brain injuries and different things, maybe there's not enough gratification given, enough acknowledgement given, I think.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people will say, hey, how are your kids doing? Your kids doing all right? How old are they now? Things like that. But very rarely do they say, hey, how are your parents doing? Are they still well? Are they, you know, do you have an aging parent that has dementia that you're staying up all night? You know what I mean? Stuff like that maybe gets overlooked and not acknowledged enough. And the different way people accept grief and accept, you know, the end of life as our parents and other people come to it. just might give a little support on that. I'm not sure. It'll be neat, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, it's always great, and I think it's great. I think a lot of people can relate to that, Barry. A lot,
Thank you. Thank you.
more than you could imagine. I'm sure. Yeah, we're a lot of us are caretakers, whether it be parents, children, even ourselves. We got to take care of ourselves and each other, y'all. And it can be hard and tiring, rewarding but hard and tiring. Okay, and so yeah. Well, Barry, I appreciate you. Okay,
Hey, they appreciate you too. Thank you.
I'll be there
Thanks for doing
tomorrow.
the target. Hey, cool. Thank you. Thank you for doing the target
Okay.
too.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, well let me thank everybody for being members of the Hunt Club for 30 27 months. Maureen and Larry Sharp, thank y'all so much, and Gus as well. Thank y'all so much. And also let's see, Jim Weaverling, and let's see, Angel, and Mad Paximus, and Angelique. Thank y'all so much for the super stickers tonight. I appreciate y'all very much. I appreciate all my moderators for being here. Thank you for everybody for sticking with us for the past 2.5 hours, and for going through this whole wild ride. I told y'all it was going to be wild, didn't I? I forgot how I put it in the beginning. I was like, this is going to be a hot mess tonight with the Kelpies, but the Kelpies started organic, and now they may be some kind of hologram matrix kind of thing in the simulation. Aren't we all? I don't know. Y'all, everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed it tonight. If you'd like to see the remote viewing data, please go over to my Patreon and become a member over there, and you can have access to all the raw data and all my presentations to all these targets. Okay, and you guys, please come back and see me Saturday night. We have Greg Smith coming. He has figured out with some data. He's done some extensive research. He's a boots on the ground field researcher up in Chickamauga, Georgia. He has discovered what old green eyes really is. And we've got some extensive historical stuff to go through. I'm not going to tell you what it involves. It's going to be good. Okay, so y'all come back, see me 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. Barry, we'll see you over on your channel tomorrow night. Y'all have a wonderful night, and please stay safe out there, y'all. I have seen some weird stuff today. Okay, and we live in a very strange world, but have no fear. Come back to see me tomorrow night, y'all. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.